Pretty cool transition.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's because apparently, yeah, that's fixed. I actually need to remember to put it on Streamlabs. All right, guys, do you hear us right? Yeah, because there's a delay.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah, 30 seconds. Oh yeah, I have no idea why Arcade's done
It's
that.
good. No, excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay.
Ah, fair point, okay.
Yeah, so Arcade made some change, so yeah, only followers now can comment into the live stream. That's good. Hey guys, again, welcome if you have missed the small part to the Devil May Cry 20th anniversary charity marathon. So right now we're with someone probably you guys know, and if you don't, that's pretty much impossible by now. Welcome to Devil Never Cry, our British mad lad. So, Devil Never Cry, if you don't know the guy, of course I'm going to let you introduce yourself. This is going to be completely free road. So he is a content creator, you mostly know on YouTube, on Twitter. He's made a ton of videos for tons of topics, covered all games, tutorials, lore, lots of talking. Like, follow the guy. Let me just find your channel real quick. Well, you've got a ton more subs than me, but never hurts to give some people the love. Always people giving the love. Yeah, okay. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to take the time to say, I guess, thank you for having me. It's always great to get involved with the community and everybody else, especially when it's for a good cause.
Yeah, there we go. So you guys, if you want to give Devil May Cry a follow, you've got the link in the description. So this is going to be some clearly casual talk. So how about you try to introduce yourself the most naturally possible?
Yeah, I'm DNC, as Kyo said, and pretty much covered most of it. I started making a bunch of YouTube content for Devil May Cry in the past couple years. You know, big fan, just a fan as many of you, and yeah, cover pretty much anything and everything DMC.
Okay, first big question, because you know, 20 years of DMC. When did you first start into the series? What got you into it?
So it was actually my older brother, who obviously we had a PS2 at home, and I was like incredibly young when DMC first came out in 2001. I was like 4 years old, but I used to sit and watch my brother play a bunch of games, and one of them was DMC, and yeah, it was kind of just through watching him play that I got into it. Same thing with DMC2. Like, I wasn't really good at games when I was young. I think a lot of people can relate. So I just used to watch him play. He'd hand me the controller every once in a while, but I was never any good at it. But yeah, I think my adoration for the series came from that.
Damn. How old were you again?
In 2001, I was like 4 years old. 4.5, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, very young. Probably shouldn't have been watching him play games like that, but is what it is, really.
Damn. So wait, how old are you now again?
I'll be 24 this year.
Wow. 24. So yeah, well, 20 years.
20 years, right? Yeah.
Oh my.
Crazy. I remember when we first met at Capcom, and you were talking about how you started with DMC2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in DMC2. Yeah, well, it's really the game that you love it as a kid, and as you grew up, like, and everyone talks about what DMC2 makes DMC2, and you're like, oh, you mention it. Well, But then you still love it because it's DMC2, and for some people, like me included, it's the first game, you gotta love it. Makes me think because, yeah, you said you were never that good about it, but yet you grew as a pretty good player. Actually, I remember when you played for the DMC5 pre-release, that was more than decent. What gave you the will to improve as a player?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I guess tackling some of the harder difficulties, you need to just learn some of the more advanced mechanics of a game. You know, specifically like DMC3, like weapon switch canceling for recovery. Getting out of recovery frames and things like that. And so, just tackling some of the harder difficulties, I picked up some things here and there. But then obviously seeing all the classic videos, like Chaos, the Elysium, or Brea's like the combo mad for DMC4. And it was just thanks to the community in the tutorials they put out. Chaser put a pretty big tutorial out for Nero, which I remember studying quite a lot. And then obviously 2B Power as well for some of the Dante stuff as well.
Yeah, he released a tutorial not so long ago. Pretty complete, but yeah, Chaser has been such an entry point for high level plays. Like, yeah, it's nice to see that it leads to people going like as you did.
Yeah, and so it was just pretty much thanks to the efforts of the community that I was like motivated enough to try and learn some of the more complicated things. And I knew obviously making content that especially things like tutorials, you really need a good understanding of the games. And so it was kind of to know what I'm talking about, I have to play sort of thing.
Yeah, well, you've made some tutorial yourself. Did Chaser Text and 2B Power's tutorials maybe give you the taste of a tutorial? Makes you want to make one for people?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of looked at them and how easy they were as like a beginner player to understand, and how they broke things down quite simply. And I kind of used that experience to help me, I guess, shape my own tutorials. It was like, I remember specifically when the DMC5 demo came out, seeing a lot of people on social media, I guess, struggle with some of the basic sort of stuff, and that's kind of what spurred me to start making some of these videos.
Yeah, that's very great. Like, I mean, you need pretty much tutorial for every level. DMC has kind of games. It takes inspiration from like versus fighting games, but there was until recently not that much tutorials. Like, you've got the Void now, but most of the things that is here today is actually from work of so many tutorials. So you're playing it part 2, so that's great. I saw just Shooty just said, like, if DNC teaches me some combos, I will teach Neil some guitar riffs. Oh my gosh, you've got a deal, man.
That's an absolute deal there, yeah. Be cool.
How did you go into content creating as itself? Because you've made so much videos. When did you even start?
When did I start? That's a good question. I think it was around the announcement of DMC5. That's pretty much what kicked it all off, and I was just kind of covering some of the news about DMC5 and the articles and stuff, and I was just sharing these videos around in some of the Discords I was in, and people really seemed to like them. And then I kind of just doubled down on it and just tried to improve the content. I've always been somebody who likes to mess around with video editing and stuff, so it kind of came naturally.
Damn, you find because like everyone, you've got a job, so it's incredible because you put like so much consistent, quite a consistent level of work actually, and even the editing is good. Now it's just a full-fledged content creating. So how do you manage to actually put a schedule so you can get everything set up perfectly?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I guess because when I started, I was working part-time, and I had university I was going to full-time as well. I remember for DMC5, and it was kind of just like as soon as I finished work or university or whatever, I'd just crack out spend 2 or 3 hours just making videos every night, and just kind of just keeping consistent at it. You know, it helps when you've got words of encouragement from the community who are like either giving you feedback or saying, "Oh, we want to see this next," or you know. But I think if the community is super receptive, that might have put me off a little bit. But yeah, it's just, you know, you got to have the drive to do it, you know, and you got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah, okay. Have you had any times where you felt like a bit wavering in how you keep doing? Like, did you have such moments? That what was gotta find the words. Oh, great.
No worries.
What gave you back the will? Like, you feel down. What makes you feel up again?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's times where I get burnt out, and I take like 2 or 3 weeks, you know, and I think about how much I've done and how much I've built in terms of a following in a community, and not wanting to see it, I guess, go to waste, really. And also taking inspiration and seeing other people put awesome content out there as well, you know, and that gives me the drive to get back up, I guess, and continue doing what I was doing.
I guess you're doing some sports too to keep it up, because you see, like, you're pretty shaped up.
Yeah, so I lost. So I was pretty overweight at one point, and like I went to the gym consistently to grind it all off. And yeah, I guess it's like, you know, taking that and just applying consistency to everything you do in life. You know, you got to work for it, sort of thing.
Okay. By the way, chat, if you have some questions, like all these certified beefcake from Casey. Oh my god.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, Casey. Yeah, well, I gotta hit the gym soon, like, but I can't seem to find the time. I was doing some basketball, but like it's been like 2 months that I haven't touched a ball. Or I mean, I'm not going to get up, but it's not because I'm short, but because I had some weight up. So
fair enough. Yeah.
So that's why I've got the beard, you know. I try to hide it.
To hide it, yeah. But basketball is like tough, man. Like, you're running around constantly. I remember playing it younger, and I was just always end up sweating heavily by the end of a session.
What position did you play?
Like,
was just playing Aaron? Yeah, because you've got like the point guard and stuff.
Oh no, yeah, it was kind of just a free for all where it was just 2 teams and everybody just
Ah, nice. Well, that's still nice. Like, I'm doing some street basketball myself, so. Sure, he asks if you can teach me, so cool. Are you on? So yeah, Digron says, yeah, okay. Are you actually doing it?
Yeah, if Shruti wants, yeah, I'd be happy to teach him some stuff,
Damn,
you know, and then we get to see. Well, we'll see if Mills is willing to learn some guitar riffs as well, you know. Mills will hold up his part of the bargain as well.
Yeah, Mills is going to be like doing 3 notes and go, fingers. C4 says, he has a question. I have a question for DMC. What project are you most proud of that you worked on that relates to DMC?
Oh, that's a really good question. The 20th anniversary video I put together recently, I really liked, and I think that's, you know, I spent a lot of time on that, so I'm super proud of that. Also, just the tutorial project as a whole, I think I'm super proud of, because I still get people in random streams who are always like, oh, like, your tutorials really helped a lot, like, thank you, sort of thing. Like, even like years on, you know, and it's yeah.
This very specific video that makes you so much work. Like, you wanted just to go on the bed and.
Good question. Yeah, there might be. Let me actually take a quick look. Because the videos I do are super short, like it's not that bad.
Yeah, it still requires work.
They still do require work. That's very true. Very true. Having to platinum DMC5 special edition again.
No.
Because I did it once on stream, and then I joked about doing it again when special edition came out, and then everybody was expecting it, and I've kind of forgot how bad Hell in Hell was.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think I haven't completed an Hell in Hell difficulty, except maybe in the the reboot had the difficulty. I think that was the first time. I think that's the only one I have ever completed.
Yeah, well, the reboot had like, was it Gods Must Die as well, didn't they? Which was really tricky as well.
God Must Die was neat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
Must style stuff. Yeah, you've got the must style like toggle in the definitive edition. That was a good thing.
That was a really cool thing. Yeah. It's one of those things I hope maybe they bring back in the future. I think it's really cool.
A couple of more questions actually. Casey asks, what's your favorite non-game related activity?
Oh, that's a good question. Good question, Casey. I think aside from like games and maybe the gym, I think taking my dog for like a long walk really helps. It helps unwind after a long day, like, because a lot of what I do now for work involves video games. Like a lot of the times after I finish work, I don't want to touch another video game. So yeah, going off for a long walk with the dog usually is pretty cool. Get to just zone out.
Is it doing well, the dog?
Yeah, he's fine. So he's a year and a half old now.
Wow.
So he's been.
Well,
It was very very tricky raising a puppy, but yeah, he's cool.
You do post pics of your dog once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while, yeah, on Twitter, yeah, I'll post. I'd show him, but he's currently sleeping now. But he was on earlier in the stream.
Yeah, let's not wake it up. Oh, questions, nice. Okay, Sopa Gamja. I was wondering if there was a game mechanic from a different game, so maybe likely not in DMC, but you'd love to see implemented in DMC. That's a wide question.
That's a very wide question, right? Yeah. I guess. I guess this maybe have been implemented in some mod stuff. I think for DMC4, but like real time character switching is really cool. Like obviously, I think in is it Samurai Warriors Orochi 4? You have the option to run. Obviously, you're running around. It's a different game entirely, but you can switch characters in real time, and I think that would be a really cool addition to Devil May Cry.
That's also Sonic Heroes, but has some kind of. It's not it's quite different in character switching, but the characters are here and there. They have some support abilities, and as the main one, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Oh, it's been so long since I've played Sonic Heroes.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was like
2004, I think.
Yeah. It was like years ago. Crazy, but that was a fun game. I remember.
Goodness. Oh, Jagburger FGC has a question which is more about content creating as a whole.
Yeah, go for
it. Does DNC have any advice for breaking into YouTube, building up an audience? I've started making DMC freestyle combo stuff, but I have no clue how to actually get someone else to discover it.
Yeah, that's good question, Yak. I would say in terms of breaking into YouTube and building up an audience, cover something and do something that you love. I used to, before doing DMC5, there were like playthroughs of other DMC games and stuff on there that I just enjoyed playing, right? And I did it just because I enjoyed to do it. I wasn't expecting anything, so I think finding something you're passionate about will really help, because in times where you don't get the views, you'll still have that drive to make that content. And in terms of building up an audience, consistency is key. Just whatever is possible for you to do on a consistent basis, just keep at it. In terms of being discovered, unfortunately, a lot of it has to do with luck, and a bit, not too much, because obviously, your content matters, but luck does play a little factor in it.
Yeah, one thing, if I may add, because I'm quite on the other side of content creating, is that try to not to go to surrender to clickbaiting. Like, make your content, but don't overselling with a lie, because there's nothing more. There's rarely something more frustrating that going into a video, you watch it, and at the end of the day, you haven't got the answer that got you into the video. So it feels like a waste of time. So stay true to yourself too. And by the way, don't hesitate to drop your links below, like in the chat. We won't share it into a video, of course, because I can't exactly do that. But like, if people want to try and see what you do, maybe that will give you the motivation. Just drop your links.
Yeah, sure. I'll drop a
Yeah,
link.
even if it's just YouTube, like drop your YouTube below. Like, no worries, man.
Yeah, I mean, to continue on with what you're saying with clickbait, I think clickbait will get you the numbers, but in terms of building an actual community that will stick around, you want to kind of try and stay away from it.
Yeah, like there's a real difference between having numbers and quality. Like, it's like having tons of friends, but no one will come at your rescue if something bad happens. Okay, I take an extreme case, but that's pretty much the logic here.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like and the other thing, like, don't be tempted to change a bit who you are because you know people are going to like what you're going to say. Like, don't try to please two people. Like, I mean, it's fine that that caring about people watching you, but don't lie to yourself while doing it. Like, if you don't believe in something, don't preach it.
Yeah, exactly. People will naturally just be, attracted to who you are as a person, as in your personality. I think if you're not genuine, it can come across quite easily, on camera and stuff.
Joto has another question. Has DMC ever thought about messing with other aspects of the DMC community, such as speedrunning, cosplay, style play, etc., etc.?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mention that. So, in terms of speedrunning, I do speedrun DMC 1. Not amazingly, but not amazingly well, but I've got a decent time. I was actually going to take part in the speedrun competition tomorrow, but there was a conflict scheduled with me, so I wasn't able to take part. But speedrunning in DMC 1 is something that I definitely find pretty cool. In terms of cosplay, yeah, I've been to one of the UK DMC cosplay meets held by Christoph and his group, which is pretty cool.
For reference, because
Nerd Armory. Sorry, yeah.
Nah, it's fine. Yeah, we have a bad idea.
In terms of style play, I mean, I've made a couple of I think combo videos. Nothing too crazy, But yeah, I mean, I try and I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not super loud with all the stuff I do. I kind of just. It's not more so for content, like content promotion wise. It's more of a case of just like, I like doing these things, so I'll do them, sort of thing.
But ultimately, like, you've touched a bit of everything, and ultimately, like, you've gotten access to Peak of Combat. Like, I believe that Nebula Joy came in touch with you.
Yeah, this was like a year and a half ago. Like, it was a long time ago. And they reached out once, but I haven't heard back from them since. But yeah, they've I've had a few places reach out, which is pretty cool opportunity. Doesn't happen often, but yeah, it's great when it does.
What did you think about Peak of Combat? Like, it was an early. It was I think it was closer to an alpha than a beta. But what did you think of it? Like, back then at the shape it was.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I knew it was like a beta or even an alpha, so it was still far away from release and needed some work. But no, I thought it was pretty cool, and I like the fact that they've taken from all the different Devil May Cry games and put them into one. And we've heard that obviously it's coming out worldwide and it's going to be on PC, I believe they said. And so since that news, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, Nebula Joy is not exactly the only one that try to approach you, because you've recently, like just today, you actually released a nice video. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so this is funny because super groupies do a lot of like fashion, like collaborations with different brands, like games and anime and stuff, and they reached out last year in August, I want to say, and they accidentally made mention of a special DMC5 special edition, which I wasn't supposed to know about. But they kind of got in contact to send me some items, to try out and to review. And so they sent me some DMC5 Nero merch, like a bag and some boots. And
Damn,
yeah, they were really cool.
the boot
Really
looks
cool.
so neat.
Oh man, they were super comfortable as well. Yeah, I can definitely recommend them.
Damn, that's nice. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Questions everywhere. Okay, okay, one after another. C4 Sages. Question for the NC. When are you dyeing your hair white?
Why am I dyeing my hair white? I mean, it's I don't know. Like the reason I don't dye my hair or mess with it too much in terms of color is because you hear horror stories of people who dye their hair and it ruins it forever, like permanently. Or it makes their hairline recede and everything. And so maybe I'll do some research into it, but for now there's no plans to dye it white.
By chance, my best buddy just he did that pretty often for his Dante cosplay, like truly dyeing his hair white. So yeah, I will be asking for some advice from him.
Yeah. See how it is.
Maybe not for me because I'm a lost cause, not just joking. But probably, I think you want that. And funnily enough, not Diagram. Who was it? Yeah, Weaponized Niceness. Question for GNC: is bald beautiful?
I would say yes, because my my brother is actually bald. So yeah, exactly. I agree. Bald is definitely beautiful. 100%.
Nice. The BG Man 1 question for both. What's your favorite DMC?
Question. I'd say probably the original Devil May Cry is my favorite. It's not. I wouldn't say it's the best, because but in terms of my own personal favorite, I think DMC1 because it's a very weird, unique blend of like Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. It's like very gothic, and that appeals to me.
Nice.
What about you, Q?
Did you read the novel?
Yeah, I've actually got the. I've got the. Yeah, you've got it. I was gonna say I got the novel up on my shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying because there's also the mangas that actually falling. Oh crap! It fell. Yeah, so this one for people who don't know.
That's the one.
Yeah. I actually read 2 pages. I actually have to read the rest. So I definitely gotta catch up on this because it's actually my best buddy who lent it to me.
Okay.
As from my favorite DMC, that's actually a very difficult question. I think I would say 5 as my favorite DMC, not my most played one, but probably because first of all there's the feelings tied to waiting 10 years for the game but first playing, but second of all because the game has another take on implementing characters into the universe. Like it feels more like they're not apart from the rest of the world. It feels like it's more human in how it gets. Also, there's ton of they got deeper on other characters like personalities. It feels a bit off compared to because they put things like in 3, 4, etc. It feels like a sudden emphasis, but for the most part it's really well done. And as for gameplay wise, I admit I like the Breakers, and I do like a lot what they have done with Virgil.
Yeah, because you put a lot of time into DMC4 Virgil, right? On console in particular, I'm saying it's just crazy because there's no void or anything.
Yeah, I actually started in DMC4 like on console. My PS4 like isn't somewhere, but then I got on PC. But yeah, my fingers just start picking back off one combo or two. But yeah, I did spend a lot of time in 5 Virgil too, and I don't think I spent as much time I wanted to for now, but I will catch up on some 5 combo making. Next question, Pseudo Wolson. What's the most left field crossover you've seen from DMC? Example, SMT Nocturne, Puzzles and Dragons, Marvel vs. Capcom, etc. etc.
Good question. Probably, I don't know. Maybe the Puzzles and Dragons, like the Japanese sort of collab, which I'd never sort of expected or anything. It just popped up on Twitter one day, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
I
You
think
know,
that
I think
there's one that just got released, right? It's the last Claudia, I think. I think it's named
I
that.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
the SMT Nocturne stuff, mate. Well, I guess makes sense knowing the history with like the art design and stuff for DMC3, designing the devil
true.
triggers and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Um, but yeah.
Did Q say Among Us? Maybe I did. I didn't notice. Okay. Well, this is going to be a hot debate because Joto asked a question, and I'm going to ask it anyway. What was your personal opinion on the DMC reboot? Did you have issues with it, or did you think, from a casual perspective, it played fine? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Classic question.
Good question. Interesting question, right? I mean, I wasn't super happy when it first came out, but like I thought, I'd give it a go. I bought it, I gave it a go to see what all the fuss was about. And I thought it was just, well, it's very, very average. I think a lot of I guess a lot of the hate, I suppose, comes from the way that the marketing for it was handled, in terms of like in terms of like insulting the original series and whatever. But I thought the game was okay. Definitive Edition was a big upgrade, I think, and I think
there's something I thought at about the reboot is that you remember like me the first trailer that got so much
yeah.
bad blood from it, but in my opinion, like, I remember there was so much analysis from it, and I come to think that the game could have been better if they kept on that track. Because there was so much psychological stuff. I mean, that could have been really interesting. Like, of course, Dante like looked particular to say it like that, but I think there was real ideas behind it, and some of the feedback, I think, made it turn out mild.
Yeah, it was because they had that feedback and they tried to please some of the older the fans by changing it a little bit. I think maybe if they did stick to what they originally had planned, maybe it would have been better received. The soundtrack is pretty cool. Yeah, the Noisia tracks, I will admit that the soundtrack
Combi Chris
was great.
Dope.
Yeah, Combi Christ as well. It was really cool. Yeah, the Definitive Edition was great. They listened and they changed so many things.
The log list, man, several pages in a PDF.
It's like 23 pages, I think. Yeah, something crazy like that. But the reboot, it is what it is. I know the thing is like talking to a lot of people in the community. A lot of people started with the reboot, and that was their first way into DMC. So, it's kind of a case of just it is what it is, really.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true that it was on PS4, PS3 era, so that was one major, like, let's say, break into console being more and more in people's houses. So this was more of a chance to people to discover a franchise, even though it was not necessarily intended to be an entry point, but a point of the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we gotta give it credit for that, I guess. That's actually a question that feels interesting to talk about. Tevrod, I never knew how to pronounce his nickname, even though he's on Twitter so much. What would you think of a Sparta game? That's an interesting.
That's a very interesting question. I think it would be cool. We see so much of Eva and Dante and Virgil and their relationship. What was the relationship between Sparda and his sons? I think that would be pretty cool. Learning more about the underworld with Sparda and Mundus. I think that would be cool.
Like a what if story?
Yeah, maybe a what if story. Maybe like finding out what happened to Sparda. Where did he go? Obviously, supposedly he died, but like what happened?
Yeah, we know he was at some point at Fortuna before disappearing completely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think it would be pretty cool. I think it'd be cool to maybe get some sort of prequel or whatever.
as for me, I don't know, because I'm pretty sure that's a game. I think that's a game that like should not exist. Like it would be a pretty cool idea, but the thing is, maybe you want Sparta to stay a myth, and
Yeah.
not maybe like if the story is not handled properly, it's going to be like, okay, maybe this should not have been done, and people will be led into regrets and something. I think people like stay hooked on DMC because they wonder what Sparta has been doing this whole time, if he's still alive. And answering that question, I don't know. But if it exists, to be honest, let's say for argument's sake, it exists. I would like to have Drew Coombs do Sparta.
That would be an awesome throwback, I think. To get him involved in the series again. And I think, I agree partially with what you said. I think if it's not handled right, the whole Sparta game, it might ruin some of the mystique and the mystery behind Sparta. But yeah, Drew Coombs coming back would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, people will discover the guy like on Monday, and please tune in. But I'm pretty sure I don't have you to tell that.
Yeah, no, I'll be
that
thinking
to you, but
100%,
yeah, please tune in. And the guy is lovely, and frankly, in terms of voice acting, man, he still got it. Maybe even more better because there's some, like a good old wine,
Yeah.
He's aged that well,
Fine.
and like if you guys can hop in on Twitter to see the message he's been doing for a charity event, like you can see like, damn, he's got the haha that Ruben did, for example. It was so close. At some point I was like, wait. Really? So yeah, any day. That's probably going a long debate about this because
Oh yeah.
half of the people want Sparta, and half of the people want Sparta but doesn't want Sparta to be a myth that gets broken. Damn. Well, there's other people that are going about the trend of Sparta, and someone said, yeah, it's Drew Sparta. Talk about a coincidence. A question for both. If you have to choose what first, what would you choose between DMC 6 or DMC 0 with Sparta?
Oh, I don't know. Probably maybe a DMC 6. I think. I think as much as I think Sparta would be interesting, I think seeing what they do with the series next would be pretty cool. I'm interested in seeing what approach they take. Now that supposedly Nero may or may not be the focus.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much thinking the same, but maybe it's more because they changed their style with DMC5. They went for a more realistic approach while trying to keep some elements. I would like to see how they're going like 100%. If it's going to be an improved formula, or maybe that was okay, we tried this, but maybe we want to do something else as an approach. I would like to see what they're going next with the franchise first before actually answering the question. Because if I do it like, yeah, but we're still working with formula and go into DMC 0, that's going to be even worse compared to what we said so far. So I would say DMC 6 with Nero.
Yeah.
Question on the topic. Oh, Johto said an actually good question. On the topic of a Sparta game, would you like it to play as similar to other DMC games or change up its style to something like Dynasty Warriors?
Oh, it's a good question. I to be honest, I'd want it to stay similar to other DMC games. I think with Sparta as a character, they have the opportunity to really change up the playstyle and experiment with another playstyle, if that makes sense. I think if they go for a Dynasty Warriors approach, DMC is really known for its combat, and I think if they go for that approach, they might lose some of the detail in terms of combat and movesets and stuff. But I think maybe Dynasty Warriors might serve better to suit the scale of like a Demon Uprising sort of thing,
Maybe an MGR type of gameplay.
Yeah, MGL would be a mix. That would be similar to DMC, but changing it up just enough.
All right. So another topic. I think we're going to discuss stuff we have in common because we actually don't have much in common, but stuff happened that we do. So at some point, you and I managed to be at Capcom UK. We both froze in our path, and these paths crossed. It was 24th of February 2 years ago.
Yep.
You got there before me because there was so much playing crap. So
God.
for the record, so yeah, we were invited as guests for the pre-release stream of Devil May Cry 5, and that's how we met. So, oh god, it was completely. I remember I was like with my suitcase. I was going up like 3 hours later than it was supposed to, and I was like, you were already playing, and then you look at the okay.
It was. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect because I was only told about it maybe the day before, I think, because somebody had had pulled out, I think. Yeah. So I was like the backup,
I was too technically.
Yeah.
Because Meals was supposed to be there, but he had something personal. So I remember it was like a big time trial. Time attack situation if they had to find a replacement.
Yeah.
And to make up for it, because we spent so much time playing 5 that day, and I remember we were so late and stuff that Matthew Edwards of Capcom UK community manager he offered us the pizza and stuff.
It was like, yeah, we arrived. I think it was really like 6, maybe 7. We arrived 7 p.m. and then we ended up playing until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever.
Yeah, we are easily 2 a.m. before we were back at the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was like, was it 10 p.m. I think? No, 9 or 10 p.m. when I landed.
Yeah. You something happened with the flights, didn't they?
Yeah, we're not going too much into that, but it was so stressful. No. And I remember that on D-Day, my phone was uncharged, so at a point it was like 1%, so I could catch an Uber to go to the headquarters.
Jesus.
And I was like, the first thing when I arrived, so, oh yeah, nice to meet you. Where can I charge my phone, please? It's out of battery.
God.
Oh damn, and yeah, it was really nice. And I remember Matthew put me in front of the Xbox, and I boot up, and the first thing I see it's Virgil with Nero on the main menu, and I was like, dude, come over, what the hell?
Yeah, I remember. I think because he gave me I think they only had maybe 1 or 2 stations set up with a proper new game, and everything else was like a debug, right, where they had access to everything.
Yeah.
So I remember, you calling me over, and I was just like, oh my god, what's going on?
And I was like, I was supposed to practice a mission, and I was like, I'm too curious. So, okay, let's go further. And I take one mission, and it was really random. I take one random mission, and what is it? It's the goddamn Urizen mission on mission 17th. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to do it, and I got crushed like a bug. But then we got to see Nero and David Trigger and stuff. So we got to see all of this at the same time. I had like 3 hours to process it. You had a bit of time, but you went in game progressively. I was like, no, straight to the end.
Yeah. I was practicing missions 1 to 4, trying to play with Nero. I know.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually ended up practicing more for late mission, getting my ass kicked instead of going full cover. I did a bit. But I was like, I'm too curious. Yeah, thankfully we had all.
Yeah, lip sealed, yeah.
And then we had Carlo Baker come. I remember the tomorrow, it was super early. No sleep, it was 2 a.m., 8 a.m. we were up.
God.
Was it? No, 6 I think. I think it was 6. Then
It might have been 6 we got up.
We got to the we got to the HQ, and then by the way, we're going to have Carol Baker coming, so Nero's model for DMC5. Oh my god.
A big surprise, yeah. That was pretty cool though.
Oh my god.
That was a really cool experience.
So intimidating. And you got back. You had the chance to come back like for the Switch. You had the Bloody Palace stream, as I recall.
Yeah. So I think it was just a case of being readily available, I suppose. You know, being in the UK, that I was invited back, and I guess knowing that I was reliable enough to not do anything crazy on stream. But yeah, they invited me back. You know, super friendly.
You did great.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great, and you were back for the showdown with Cosmic as well, and that was cool to see behind the scenes a little bit.
66 point, I think. What?
Oh yeah. So close.
And I was like, I remember just before the show, there was like that V stuff from Harakiri, a collaboration. I was like, damn, I must get my hands on it. Until I know it was actually a prize, I'm like, yeah, super motivated. But I was running without turbo. It was messy, and I just had a couple of hiccups. It was a prototype too, so it's even more rare. It's not just finding the thing on internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Smoke saying, "Yo, teach me how to add 6066 time."
Your favorite curse number.
Casey,
yeah.
DMC opening wounds. Oh well.
I didn't mean to.
What, you told him about it? Oh my god.
I'm sure Casey saw it himself. A lot of people tuned in to that stream.
You know what? I don't want to know. Okay, one last question, guys. Because coming up is the schedule, and next I'm still with you guys. You gotta bear with me for a bit longer as I will run into DMC Bloody Palace. So okay, shoot one question and make it big, please. And teach me. Yeah, 60. I remember when I was like, I was playing the game, finishing like the room, and then I see the style points. I was like, no, come on. and then everyone saw me go like.
It's just so. Yeah, that was a very close race.
Oh yeah, what a good one. Cosmic deserved it. Casey Edwards, he's the first one. What are your future aspirations? What do you want to do for the future?
That's a big question. In terms of what? In terms of the channel? In terms of me?
I live in the pleasure to go a bit more precise on this.
Open-ended. Okay, fair enough. I guess to just continue what I'm doing in terms of content. Continue to cover DMC or just even the other games I cover like Resident Evil and stuff. And just grow my community. Yeah. In terms of like my career. Working in the games industry, I get to play games for a living. Which is more than what most can say. But yeah, just bigger and better in terms of future aspirations, I believe.
Yeah, well.
What about you, Kyo?
Actually, I have a question because on my future, I will answer that after. But my question is, how is it to make your hobby into a living? Because people easily overestimate what it's like to be committed to this kind of stuff, and people overestimate that it can be really difficult.
Yeah, so I mean, as fun as it is to say, playing games for a living, there's a lot more to it in that in terms of marketing, and it's a lot of prep and a lot of double checking to make sure things, are going out on time, or you've got the right assets, you're talking to the right people, things are scheduled. It's tough. It's fun, but it's definitely tough. It's a job. You don't get to just sit around doing whatever you want. And there are times, as I said, where you finish a day of work and you don't want to play video games when you're done with work. But it's a lot better than doing other things. Like I worked retail for a long period of time, part time and full time in it. definitely better than that.
Yeah, because so much people, like, for example, they want to become game journalists because they're thinking all they're doing all the time is playing games. So even content creating is tough.
Yeah, it's tricky, you know. It's a job. You can't go in expecting it to be all work and all play and no work. But yeah.
To be honest, what I'm the most afraid of is no longer liking the games for what they are, because you tie them in a working situation.
Yeah. So I guess at a certain point you begin to look at it like work instead of just sort of playing for a game. But that hasn't happened to me. There's thankfully I'm able to, I guess, to shut off work mode, I suppose, the work mindset, and just go back to playing whatever I want to play.
Yeah.
Might not be like that in a year's time.
Well, that makes you quite of a lucky one. I mean, not everyone is capable of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And to actually answer your question, as you asked me what I was planning for my future. Well, I'm working like as a job seeker, so I'm helping out people. But as for the future, as a DMC content creator, I have honestly no clue. For me, I'm reaching the peak of what I can do, but I would like to be a better bridge between officials and the community, and I think that's why I could help in making this. And I think I reached the peak. I have honestly no clue about what I will be doing even next year, but I will just do what passions leads me to, and that's just it.
It's a good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, sometimes it's a bit. It makes me feel a bit anxious, but at the same time, like, everything happens and you feel just bliss. It's just bliss to have this like happen, and like if I have to talk about the life as a fan, it was like just one teen, and then today we're doing this together, talking of us as adults, as child, and that's really great. That's a bit weird, but yeah.
Very real there for a second, but it's cool. It's cool, It's cool.
Anything you want to say to the DMC community before we go to the next part?
As I said before, thank you for having me. It's been amazing to see the community, all these years, and how it's changed and how it's grown. And I think DMC is probably in the best place it's ever been in a long time. So only thing I could say is thank you for having me, and stay stylish.
Well, anyway, it's not the last time you're dropping here, because you're going to be later on doing a run of DMC1, your favorite game, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm pretty sure people want to see you play the game and talk about so many things, like what you've loved, how did you feel like when you first discovered this lore stuff. I'm pretty sure you have so many things to talk about. Okay,
much,
guys.
yeah.
So this is it for the Devil Never Cry interview. I hoped this was a really nice one. I hope you did enjoy it. He's going to be back later. Don't worry, the handsome guy is not going to run away from you. With his goddamn cowboy hat. It's going to be a false hat, like he's going to throw it everywhere. His handsomeness is going to spread the handsomeness everywhere. As for now, little recess. We're going to prepare, because I'm going to tackle on Bloody Palace as Virgil. So see you in the next 15-20 minutes. And till then, stay stylish.
Devil May Cry.